All right, guys, we've got Walker round 2, part 2. We're completing the sandwich. Michael, thanks for being the main meat in the middle. We're here for some real good bread to wrap up though. Walker Sahag, thank you so much.
Thank you. So, in following up with that entire thought of what is happening with the players that we're currently receiving, and trying to develop the base work that allows us to put great players out there, successful players, players who are really developing and enjoying the sport. This is really talking about something so fundamental, is where is the stroke going to originate from? How are we going to build a stroke? Michael said something that is absolutely 100% for Ray and I, our number one thing, is if you have someone who comes with a problem within their stroke, the first thing we look at is the feet. We always start from the ground up. And having been a member of the PTR from 1981 and teaching with Dennis Vandermeer 2 different sessions of my life, and actually being a national tester where you had to do all the corrections and pick out the corrections, I'm absolutely convinced that if today I had to retake that test, they would flunk me. I'm certain that they would absolutely flunk me. And I know the test. Because instead of looking at something so much on the surface now of what is the quick fix, I'm looking at what is the root cause. And looking at the root cause is not where people are going to come up and say, oh, that's the quick, They're asking for the quick fix. I'm going to work at the root cause. Because if you don't address that, it's not going to get fixed. And I think the last few years, I've kind of been thinking of myself as a forensic tennis pro, in that I can see where somebody was trying to fix this. I'm like, okay, I understand why they had you pointing the toe here. Is because you didn't really have the proper weight exchange with this, and this, but I understand why they told you to do that. They were trying to fix it, they just didn't get to the root. And again, the game is really built from the ground up. When you go and you watch a pro player, how much do you see them working on their footwork? You see, even now at the Grand Slams, they built warm-up rooms. They didn't used to have it like that. I mean, the French Open, they had one little bike, down there. That was it as you're walking out on the court. That's it. Now they have the players are working nonstop on their movement. And if I had to ask somebody, what is the purpose of footwork? What's the purpose of footwork? To be able to move, to load, to hit the shot. They're moving to reach the shot. They're not moving to load, to hit the shot. We have all these kids now who are taking 2 steps and a slide. I've never seen Clay actually be able to develop kids into being worse movers, but it's happened, all right? That they just take 1 step, 2 steps, and then slide to try and reach the ball. Like, how are you seeing what Rafael Nadal is doing to a ball with it rotating almost 3,900, almost 4,000 rotations per, the load, the heaviness, and they're just sliding and reaching to touch it. I love, Wayne Gretzky, who talked about not chasing the puck, but playing ahead of the puck. The greatest tennis players never chased the ball. They sprinted and played ahead of the ball. Steffi Graf, I think, was one of the best examples of that. She was absolutely amazing at playing ahead of the ball. But most of the kids are kind of here, and they chase the ball, they hit it, and now they chase it over here. But they're not sprinting to position themselves ahead of the ball. And that's what great champions do. That's how great players play. You watch this loading, this whole sequencing of lower to upper. How do you get that weight exchange? Exactly what we're talking about with the serve. That it's not happening anymore. You're not seeing these throwing, hitting sports that we were always involved with. Golf, baseball, football, everything was throwing, hitting, and yet we've gotten away from those fundamentals. So in starting, I had a pro ask us the other day, and he made this one comment, and it was so exactly what I had been thinking about, talking about today. He asked me, the real trick is, how do you teach them to synchronize their lower body and their upper body? And that's really it. And that's a big missing piece. So I'm going to do some different things, and I'm going to build, but really there becomes our problem, is how do you make that happen? And to give you an idea of where I'm working toward, I'm kind of going to give you the end, and then we'll work from the beginning, is in the very first step, what should happen is that you should be creating torque. What we talked about with this twist, this load. So the very first step, Andre Agassi used to say he doesn't take his racket back on his backhand. He said, I don't take the racket. I never take my racket back. And he's right, he didn't. The racket has not moved from my belly button. It hasn't moved from my center. I've rotated my hips and shoulders and again created this separation angle. You used to have in Tennis Magazine, every single person, how many pictures did you see that look like this? Every single thing looked like that. So the first move is to start to create that torque, that twist, that load. But now we have a real trick. How do you create that and move holding it? See, that Ray's the one who started to present this to me. How do you hold that torque as you're moving? So most of the kids that we'll see, one, if they start with the wrong foot, now they're a penguin, there's no torque. So again, it might be something in a sprint, you might get there, but that's not the problem as a tennis player. As a tennis player, what are you going to do at the end of the run? You have to hit a ball. You have to load and hit the ball. So they're not creating what you have to have for what your requirement is. How do you create that torque? Then I can get them to do this. They're like, I've got it. This is good. I got the first step. And then they go. And they're right back to being a penguin. They lose the torque as they're moving. So now, how do you teach somebody to create torque, hold it, land it, and now build more torque and release it? So you've got to be able to do this and that. And that's tricky. You know, I forget, and I think for most of us, we learn to play, and we develop these skills. But we forgot what really was required to learn them. We forgot what it is we know. So let's go to work on some different ways that I'm going to develop this. But really, the objective is what is the purpose of footwork? The purpose of footwork is being able to arrive, to load, to hit a ball. So the title of this, raise my title guy. Load, land, launch. Learning to synchronize your feet and hands to produce maximum velocity shots with consistency and accuracy. That's really what we all want. All right, Ward, come on back out here. I'm going to put you to work. I'm going to start with a little simple thing that I would do a lot in terms of developing players to be able to hit open stance and work on their returns. It was interesting working with Monica Sellis. She spent at least an hour a day, every single day, working on a return to serve. At least. Ask my shoulder, it will tell you. She hit at least an hour Returns every day. I'm like, yeah, but Monica, we need to work on your serve. We need to work on your fitness. We need to work on, yeah, but you can understand. I got to hit returns. And these are some of the drills that we would work and develop a little bit with it. And I will tell you, after maybe a month of her doing this, at least an hour a day, working returns nonstop, you know what her comment was to me? You just don't understand, I hadn't hit enough returns. So, you know, I always find that working with great players, it never happened by accident. Whatever it was, if they have a great serve, they have great returns, they have a great overhead, they always have a story behind it that tells you why it was that good. Okay, so let's start right up here. And we're going to be working a lot with, right here with Ward with his backhand. We're going to start over here. We're going to do backhands today, Ward. Starting right there. So now, I'm going to be working with, again, how does he start to develop that core movement of pushing off of his right toe, turning, having both skis, so that now both skis are going to be pointing in this direction. So he's turning, both skis are pointing. He's created this torque, and now how does he coil and how does he uncoil? So when he finishes, I'm looking to see him start from here, and when he finishes, he's going to finish now fully rotated. So we're going to start right up here. He's going to take these out of the air, and we're just working on developing this right here. Take one step back, one step, half a step over. Good, good. All right. So we're just stepping out. So I'm building the kinetic chain, and he's just taking this out of the air. Again, working a lot times helping develop this for a return of serve as well. All right, so you're taking this out of the air. Okay, and it's going cross court over there. Good. Got all that right. Okay, here we go. So the first thing I'm looking for is going to be what is his feet doing? Can he push off of this toe and push and start to turn and step out slightly with this left foot, and everything is turning there. So everything I'm looking for, do you get both skis? I want both skis pointing all the way over here. That's it, come on. Get the skis over there. Good, come on. Now the second thing I'm going to see is if he creates, again, you cannot turn this hip without turning that heel. So I don't want the heel sitting back here, Igor. I want to make sure that we get it all the way to here. Now, when he finishes, it should rotate fully, yes. So that now both skis, that's weight exchange. That is about him learning good weight exchange. So now he started with his weight fully on his left foot and finish with his weight fully over here on his right foot. There we go. Good. That's it. Hit the thing, hit the thing, hit the thing, hit the thing. I'm used to big guys. Take a half a step back. There you go. Hit it. Oh, sit down and coil and hit it. That's it. Good. Now I'm going to look at his hip pocket. So I want to see this pocket coiled all the way over here, and we're going to work fully to that hip pocket. So now we're going one hip pocket. There we go. See, you can hear the difference in the sound as he's starting to engage the lower body better and better. Sit down. Good. Take a half a step back. Good. All right. Now, I'm working the shoulders. Again, how does he start to have his head still? Now, shoulders did not need a bigger backswing. So again, I can have the shoulders, and you think of so many times when you're watching these pro players, they're looking over that shoulder right there. So I'm really looking to see the head stay still, and he's going shoulder to shoulder. So that now this shoulder's almost tucking under that chin, and now it's rotating 180 degrees. Good players, they say, rotate their shoulders almost 220 degrees. Yep, doesn't have to have that big follow through. Yeah, there you go. All right. Now, I'm looking to have more ground force, so he's standing up here so passive. I want him starting to sit down in the ground and drive around and up. It's like you got to screw the jar lid down and unscrew it around and up. Okay, let's get some ground force. Get down there. There you go. Good. That's it. I'm always starting with him in this ready position and him practicing his first move, stepping out and coiling in this direction. So I'm always practicing how does he create torque. It was interesting, we had a player who played for Georgia, actually played with Ellen Perez, who's, that was her doubles partner at Georgia. Hang on one second. And she had been working so hard, hitting great backhands. She was playing super well with her backhand. And then they kept feeding her to just stand still here on this side. And what she had lost was her ability to coil. So you have to pay attention. Drills have consequences. And you have to pay attention because sometimes you can actually have good intent and end up developing things that you didn't really want to have happen. All right, so give me a couple more of those. Yeah. Now, Michael, with Jacob Womack, we would have him here and exploding and driving up off the ground and rotating. Can you do that? Oh, jump. No, I didn't say fall over. There we go. Good. So I might actually have them working harder. Keep the posture. Yeah. So there's times as I develop it, I can have them really start to enjoy better and better coil. All right, now back on up to the service line. This is really where a lot of times, stay right there on the service line. This is really a lot of times where I would start the warm-up with Monica. And the return of serve is a half volley rhythm. Ba-bum, ba-bum. There used to be this Cybervision video of Stan Smith. And Dennis Vandermeer would use it all the time on the return. And I could be any place in the entire office, and I could hear that echoing through it. There's a very distinct sound of that video. And I have it so ingrained in my head, 45 years later, I still have it in my head. But it was the auditory sound of the timing of Stan hitting that return. It would be bump, ba-bump, bump, bump. Bump, ba-bump, bump, bump. And it was that timing, bump, bump, that he had, and he would be doing it over and over. And what was the timing? So I'm starting I'm starting Ward right here. He's going to go forward, split, step out with his left, coil, and uncoil, and now he's working with his return, going cross court. Split, coil, uncoil. All right, so let me see. Forward, split, coil, uncoil. We're not starting with you jumping around. Show me the ground force first. Yeah, exactly. Well, you finished off balance. You were falling. So the reason he was falling on the first one is because he did not release this heel and let himself turn. He stopped this rotation and had all this energy, so then he's going to fall. Instead of here and going ahead and finishing that rotation, take a half a step back. We're not going to go too far forward. You're going to be splitting right there about the service line. I'm going to start nice and easy with you, all right? Forward, split, left, hip. No, we're not jumping around. You're going to feel the balance right here. And I find so many of these kids don't see how he's falling? Because he didn't rotate. Forward, split, left, hip. Okay, show me again. Yeah, do it again, finish on balance. Yeah, finish on balance. So if he's struggling with that, I'm going to come back. All right, do it again. Balance. I want to hear the whiz. We're not trying to just finish right out here. I want to hear the whiz. See, when you stop this, that's when you're falling. Go ahead and finish that rotation right there. Let that heel come on around. There you go. All right, now I want to hear the whiz. How are you going to generate that? There we go. Yeah, and he's somebody who hasn't been comfortable fully with weight exchange. He hasn't been comfortable finishing 100% over here. He still had weight that was back on this leg. So it's uncomfortable for him, and adding more weight is actually something that helps. So let me see. There you go, good. Let's put the feet on the ground. We got ground force here. There we go, good, come on. I want you on balance. All right, give me a few more of these. Again, you don't have to charge the ball. We're just working balance. More than anything, and again, you think of every one of these top players. You talk about Federer, brilliant balance. You talk about Chris Everett. Oh, that butt was sticking out. Let's rotate. There you go. So now we're going to start. The feet are pointing this way, and then we're going to rotate 180 degrees. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Split, rotate. There you go. Now we start to find balance. That's it. Do it again. Split, left, hip. Good. Split, left, hip. Aha. Split, left, hip. Yeah. Split, left, hip. Split, left, hip. Good. Bump, bump, bump. So I'm starting nice. The deeper I feed it, the harder it will be for him. Obviously, the faster. The first time Ray looked up, I was doing this. And I'm almost at a full serve with Monica. I'm in it. I'm just smacking it. And he went, oh my God, she's going to kill her. And then Monica hits it. And it went, and it was like, oh, okay. Her hand speed was so sick. All right, Andres, if you would come out, I'm going to have you help me out here. Okay, so the second part of this is really where, particularly, I'll let you start over here on this side, is really where I think is so important when you're building backhands, you're building ground force, you're building everything, is spacing. How do you learn to find the ball? How do you learn to find the ball with your outside foot? We are bipeds, 2 feet. And typically, as we're standing with our weight evenly balanced on both feet. But if you really want to produce power, and if you want to understand open stance, but it isn't limited to open stance, it's also stepping in, you learn to put your foot under you. Now, I can't pick up this foot from over there. I'm going to fall over. Instead, I have to learn to put it centered under my body. So if you see players hitting open stance with their forehand or loading with their forehand, they're here. They're balanced here. But on their backhand, they're not good with that. They haven't built the same leg strength, hip strength, and spacing. I spend so much time just developing these skills back into players. How do you get your left leg to be up at the strength level, the smarts? So I call this remedial reading class for your left leg. What he's going to be doing, we're going to start choked up at the top of the grip. And the reason why is I'm taking away his power. He's going to have to use his legs. Secondly, I'm looking to see him go find the ball. Can you toss me a ball, Andres? Thank you so much. These guys are so good. They look after me. I need all the help I can get. Thank you, Andres. He's to go find the ball with his left knee. So I want the ball dropping on this left leg. So if it's short in front of him, I want him to learn to put it under where the ball is dropping. So I don't want it that he's here. I don't want him here. I don't want it back there. I don't want him reaching up here. He's got to go find the ball with his left leg, and he's just going to bend down, and it's just like picking up a box. He's going to bend down and lift the ball over the net with his left leg. So everything is happening with how he goes, boom, and literally lifts the ball over the net with his left leg. Andres, if you're really brave, if you could do the same thing, that'd be great. All right. I got to warm him up to win the red ball tournament. Yeah, choked up. So we're just hitting cross court, a little mini tennis. Go find it with your left knee. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay, Can you coil? Okay. So now he's kind of facing forward. Can we get to here? Can we coil? All right. Here we go. That's it. So I want to see you learn to lift with your left leg. Okay, coil, turn. That's it. Now when you get good at this, I want this thing looking like an egg coming up over that net. So you're not hitting forward. Whoa. You're not hitting forward. You're driving it up. So I want you to turn more. Watch that ball. Bring it up a little bit higher and really lift. Okay? I want you attacking this ball up. Attack it up. Okay? With your legs. Turn. That's it. How do you go find this ball? That's the one. Yeah, and you're going to have to back up just a little bit. That's it, because these are going to be going deeper. Let it drop right there on that leg. So if it's short, see how you learn to put the foot up short? What if it's a little higher and deeper? Here, let me give you a better ball. I know, I agree. He needs a budget. Here we go. Go find it. Go find it. Go find it. Now, I need you to turn more. I need you to coil. You're facing me. I need you to be to the side of the ball this way. All right? Let's see if you can turn. Get to the side of the ball. No. Go find where it's dropping. Now, push up and lift. Push up and lift. That's it. Do it again. Come on. Go find it. Good. And now, Andres has found his. Lift. Go find it with that knee. Down. Down, up. No. We're not hitting it forward. Add more spin and height. We're just brushing it up. Rip it up. Come on. Up. More up. Oh, come on. I want up. I'm not interested in the forward. You're just lifting it up. Put the knee under it and go up. That's it. So, Andres, you might need to back up a step. That's it. Lift. Now, So the first thing I'm working on is him learning, building strength, learning spacing with his outside leg with his left leg. The second thing that I want to develop is synchronization. So in synchronization, what I need is that when he goes down, the racket goes down. When he goes up, the racket goes up. Because again, what drives the hands? This drives the hands. Wherever you want the racket to go, that's where the legs, the hips, the core should go. Take a step back because he's going to go. All right, bring it up. Come on. That's it. I want that thing looking like an egg. Yeah, load and hit it. Come on. Find it with that left foot. That's it. That's it. Learn to slide up there with your left leg. Good. Come on. Left leg. That's it. Use your core. Good. A little bit closer to the ball. You're almost there. Lift. Not hit it forward. Lift. Up. Yeah, come on. I want to see how much rotation can you get on that thing. Okay, here we go. Yeah, how much rotation? Give me a lot of rotation. I want that thing. Use your legs, not your hands. That's it. Get under it with that leg. Lift. Good. Rip. That's right. Do it again. Rip. Okay. Not quite that high. Let it drop on that knee. Use your leg. Oh, that wasn't it. Now, when you go down, the racket, relax. Let the racket drop. And this is another issue that we have with the kids, is that they can't get the racket drop on time. There we go. But you can start up. You don't have to start it down. I want it to start up, but just let gravity, just let gravity let it drop. Now push. Let the legs. So start up here. But when you go down, just let gravity do that and then really push up. That's it. Now you can feel him from his core. Yeah, look at the difference. That's the ball I want to see. Yeah. Oh, yeah, come on. It dropped in front of you, right? When it drops in front of you, then it lands in the net. You can't get under it to do it. Do it again. Relax the hands and let them be a function of get out there. Come on. So the racket tip starts up. Oh, turn. Let's get back to the good ward. That's it. Oh, come on. Be bold. Okay, whoop, stop. So the racket tip is starting up, and again, just let the relaxation, let it drop. So some of the kids, they're starting with these back swings, and the time that they're starting to hit, they've never gotten to the drop that's still stuck up here. They can't synchronize their hands and their feet. It doesn't work together. Instead, this should be the drive for the racket going up should be coming out of the legs. But it had to happen together. Just let it relax. You had those couple in there. That's it. Look how much smoother he looks. That's it. So I get him with spacing and synchronization, and he can just start ripping balls, and he doesn't miss. Everything is about that. Come on, use the legs. He struggles a little bit with his coil in the beginning, and so we're going to go to work on that. Andres, are you warmed up now for the red ball? All right, give me 5, man. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, man. He's already got a big callus. All right. Yes, question, Bo.
Hey, Coach, thank you for doing this. A quick question. I was wondering, talking about synchronization, is there any relationship in between the legs and the oncoming ball with the bounce?
such a great question.
So oncoming, you're looking at the ball coming to you. When do you synchronize? When do you plant your feet in relation to the bounce? Before the bounce, at the time of the bounce, after the bounce?
You know, different players, I'm going to go around this post if you don't, Ray, can you help me around this post? Different players have different timing. And I was going to get into this part of the discussion in just a minute, but this is what's bad when you put two tennis pros and they marry each other. And so Christmas Eve, Ray and I are walking the dogs. And we have this crazy discussion about all of this. And it was interesting when Gabe asked that question about the synchronization, because that was exactly the discussion I had and what I was thinking about here. So I'm going to just hit pause for a second, and we're going to go into a deep dive on some of those things. If you want to sit for 1 second, you can. I'll just do this a little sooner than what I was thinking about. Oh, no. Bo, I paid you to lead me in. You don't have to. All right. So Sly Black, Coco and Sloane's coach, said if a player isn't running for the ball, then they're not playing tennis. And again, I would add, if a player isn't setting up early for the ball, preparing, then they're not playing tennis. I would add coiling and loading. Again, one of the things in their first step, that was one of the things Ward was struggling a little bit with. If a player is not coiled, created that diagonal, it's a diagonal stretch in the first step, then they're not playing tennis. Everything that we teach is dependent on what a player does in their first flinch. Particularly, volleys, it's the first flinch. It's how you set the hands in that first move. At the tour level, you cannot recover from wasted time. What these guys are doing is insane. But in truth, at no level can you survive a poor initial reaction. So when did these essential fundamentals cease being taught? What you do in the beginning shows up at the end. If your first step to a stroke shows up at the end when you attempt to set up for it. So what you do in that first is going to show up how you set up. So we have the kids who take a poor first step, and then they end up over here reaching over to get to the ball. We have a girl that we're working with who's a top 10 Orange Bowl semifinalist, and she'll come show up, and we're working on her first step, and she'll be hitting it so well, getting there with that outside foot, loading and hitting, leave us hitting great backhands, 3 weeks, great backhands, 4 weeks, great. 5 weeks, she's going, oh, my backhand sucked today. I said, well, were you behind it with the outside foot? She said, no. I was reaching for it. She has a tendency to slide a step and then go. And there's a lot of people who do that. But this now put her behind there. And that coiling and that beginning is so critical. Ray points out that when Rafa first went on the tour, he used to play so deep on the court, and he really struggled. But if you think about it, he always slid into his load. As a clay courter, he slid into the load. And when he had to try and figure out it on hard, he couldn't figure out, it's a different timing. A little different footwork, subtle differences. And it really took him a while, and I think it hurt him early on in the beginning. He was having to use just his arms to hit the ball. And so when you have really good preparation, good timing, and you can take balls early because you prepared early, which starts to go back to what Bo is asking. There is a gap time. There is a time from when the ball bounces to when you hit it. Ba-boom. You have players who are so comfortable. Courtney Chapman, Middleton, I mean, she decided she was going to learn to be a good on-the-rise player, and ba-boom. Her timing was ba-boom. Carrie Wong, again, a very on-the-rise player. Ba-boom. And then you have the ones who the gap time needs to be bigger. Shapovalov with his backswing has hurt him. He wants to play an offensive game with a swing that's up here. So, Bo, what I would say is part of it is that if you're not designed to take that gap time quicker, you're in trouble. And what you're really asking is how well can you move and set up with that gap time that you're prepared back here, that you're comfortable. Another really interesting point, again, these are deep, deep thoughts and subjects from our crazy Christmas Eve walk. But Ray was making the point with Gasquet. His backhand is beautiful. But his timing was very narrow with it. He was good enough he could do it. The reason his timing was so narrow was because he was onto his front foot so early. So he had to time in such a short area. He could do it. If you gave him less pace and more of a no-pace ball that he had to try and time, he would struggle and miss-hit more. Whereas Wawrinka, who plays with such a wide base, now his strike zone is so long through here, his timing wasn't as delicate. Interesting. Interesting when you start to say, how well can you manage this relative to the size of your base, to how you've set up ahead of time. So though we're sitting here talking with Ward about simple little stupid things, it looks like, it's kind of like, reading the Bible. You can read a verse and it seems really nice on the surface, but then you dig into it and it's like, whoa, that was really big. That's really deep. Is that I find teaching these basics to kids at a surface level, but each time they get to be a higher level player, now that first step to EJ now becomes, that's the difference of me being 20 in the nation and top 5 in the nation. That's big. I'm teaching it to a little kid, they're like, okay, that's the way I start. Ward doesn't get it quite as deep as she does. She doesn't get it as deep as if you were working with Madison Keys. All of a sudden, they're coming back now giving you these detailed things. So Ward, come on over here and we're going to go to work on some of this stuff. Hey, but does that kind of...
Yeah, real quick on that, like what you mentioned with Carrie, how she was obviously so good.
Because you've hit with both of them. I thought it was interesting because you were like, yeah.
So good at redirection and stepping in. Did you intentionally build that over her junior career? One, and two, did you also work with her? She was also very good defensively. How did you split time with that? And what was your kind of plan to build her?
It's interesting because 3 unbelievable on-the-rise players. Monica Seles. Courtney was as on the rise as anybody. And Carrie, who is as on the rise as anybody. Courtney made a decision. She'll tell you. Somebody told her, you want to win? you move up here and she got her butt up on that baseline and started learning to go forward and take it early, and she was not leaving. Now, again, her grips and her swings were built in a very clean, simple fashion that she could do that, but she built it. She made the choice. Carrie, I would say so much more, it was just natural. I mean, hers was just like, well, you're like, okay, there you go. I think Monica would have been more of a combination of those two. I mean, we didn't see her until the first time I saw her was 10 or 11. You know, by the time she's 11, 10, 11, she was the best I ever saw. I mean, she was like that. You looked at her and you said, she's going to be number one in the world. I mean, you're like, that's the best I've ever seen at this age, ever. I've never seen anything like it. So I think you had that combination. It's a great question, but I think one intuitively did it. I think one decided to do it, and one was a combination of those two things. And as far as Carrie always had very good ball tracking skills. Her ball tracking skills, and then she had that magic hands that you see with players that, you know, Ray could give her the craziest feed ever, and the hands and the racket just come together. I mean, you watch these kids like that, and wherever it goes, it just comes together and it points in the right direction, and you're like, okay, you're good. You know, now how can I help you become great? But she came with that. You know, it was, and I remember the first time saying, you know, Carrie, you could win Southerns. And she looked at me and laughed. She thought it was stupid. And it was like, no, really, and she was number one in the world and number one in the nation in every age group, including NCAAs. I mean, she was, okay. So Ward, let's go to building this, all right? So now that you've been inspired, what are we gonna do, all right? So we're gonna build that first step, and we're gonna build, you can put your racket down for a second. Why don't you put it in my basket, because we're gonna need it back. So I'm going to have Ward start right here. And really, I kind of started with the backhand for him because it wasn't quite as good. It really needs some work. So split, you're stepping out with that left, and you're coiling and uncoiling. So you can see where he kind of struggled with that just a little bit. And we're going to get him getting better with his balance. All right, let's go. Split, coil, uncoil, okay? So again, when you finish, I want you to rotate and finish with your belly button pointing right over there. Okay, here we go. Yeah, better, okay? I'm not interested in how big you're taking this back right here. I want to see your posture and the coil, all right? Good. Now what I also want, I want that his receiving skills, that the momentum of the ball, and you saw Galen Hurts doing this the other night, the momentum of the ball, now you hadn't finished the rotation. You don't finish the rotation, you get a D minus. There we go. Now how are you going to sit down and go around and up? Yeah, sit down, balance. So you can see, I mean, these are things that he really needs more work on. All right? As you do that. Yeah, one more. And I'll go through a sequence with these players of this. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to have him shadow it. Again, with the weight on his racket and give me some racket head speed. So I'm going to just sit and keep building this. All right, same thing. That's it. Come on. I want to hear the whiz. Yeah. Okay, now then, I'll do the same thing, and now I want you, after it's bounced, you're driving it with that weight over there into that box. That wasn't in the box. Oh, your bootay was backing up A. All right, yeah, so when you don't, and this happens so much with adults, when you don't rotate, you're trying to generate this forward, and this is backing up. This is your power. It's easy for girls. Girls understand. This is where our weight is. This is where our power is. If we're going to drive this into the ball, No, you don't want it backing up out of the ball. If you know, the worst is playing a match with one of the pregnant women, because they figure out their balance and they get this core moving and whoa, they absolutely crush balls. This is really the understanding. I think for guys, your weight is up here and you think everything is about up here. And it's really teaching them to learn to use from your core, from that lower. There you go. Think like a pregnant woman there, Ward. Go find it with that left foot. There we go. Rotate. So I would have him have to put 10 balls into my box over there. Higher, deeper, drive it. Come on. And I'm also building strength. I'll give you a 2, sort of, maybe. Oh, 2. Pardon? That's such a good question. You know, you can't get this stuff anymore. I mean, even China, it's hard to find. I need to have, here. You can figure it out. But bring it back to me. I need it in a minute. All right. You didn't rotate at the end, so you felt like you were going to fall. There you go. Come on. So now, here was that return of serve footwork. And really, on returns, I was taught as a kid, when you come here you go. Thanks. I was taught as a kid, come forward, split, adjust your feet, step in, hit the return. All right, Dave's laughing. He said, try that on grass with a 125-mile-an-hour serve. Isn't happening. Okay, so particularly you always see the men kind of get ahead of the women in the learning, is that it's really split, coil, uncoil. So right here, we're working with that ability to make that core movement. I think the players who were the fastest that we saw at the academy right here with this core movement was Monica, Andre. Yeah, I mean, Steffi Graf's core movement right there was insane fast. It was like, boom. If you ever go back and watch it, it is just so fast with their ability to move that. And now, how much are people developing their returns, developing that ability to do this? So not only is he learning open stance right there, he's starting to be able to do that. Now I'm going to go through these kind of quickly, but you can see from right there the sequencing I would typically use. All right, I'm going to take that racket back from you. Okay, right. All right, now, so if I start with a little kid, I would give him the ball. I'd say, okay, come on, just split, step out, and now step in and throw. So if I'm starting with a little kid who's not very good with it, we're going to start like that. Then I'm going to say, all right, now I want you to catch. And what I'm interested in is their receiving skills. The way those NFL players now are catching one-handed, you never try and block it. You absorb the ball. So I want the momentum of the ball to take him back and coil him and then be able to stop it and uncoil. Stop it and uncoil and step in. So now how do you go forward? You're going to step in, out, in. Good. So I want the ball to help load him. And the weight, yeah, see right there, he's embracing now his left leg. He's embracing spending time on his left side. There we go. So as he's getting here, you see him, again, this is his move to create this torque and let it pull back. And now when he steps, it creates more of that diagonal stretch. I didn't do anything more, but when I did that, all of a sudden there was more stretch through here. So it's here, coil, you don't want to already be there. You've lost the entire torque. How do you learn to spend time on that left foot? Again, so I would start having him do that whole sequencing with the weight, with him hitting. Give me just a couple and just show me you spending time and embrace. Enjoy the tick tock. All right, tick tock. Yeah, now he's taking time on that left leg. He's loading the left leg. Yeah, now he's thinking. So before we had somebody who didn't really want to use his left leg. Now he's starting to really embrace his left leg. Okay, so I'm going to take this back. Now we're going to work for 3 steps. So very often, now you're seeing the guys have to work on a wide ball, coming out, open stance, so they're going left, left, coil, hit. So now you're just going to take me 2 left feet, coil and hit. Okay, so split, left, left, coil, open stance. Yeah, so now here, how are you going to play that open stance backhand out wide? Okay, now he got out there, but he left this leg. So there was really no load with the hips. He didn't get here in the beginning, get there and really give me this to be able to unload. If you don't load, you can't unload. Instead, he was just going from there. All right, so now when you land, your first move has to be pushing off that left toe. Everything that you're doing, you're like an ice skater. Borg learned it from ice skating. David Wheaton learned it from ice skating. That's it. Put down, down, push. You watch a great mover, their first move is like a frog. They actually drop down and push. They're not standing up. All right, here we go. I'm watching that left toe. It didn't move at all. Or that right toe. Right toe, right toe. Yeah. It's got to push you. It's got to turn you. There we go. Okay, now when you finish, this has got to rotate you back. So you see how much he's struggling with what his core has to do. Yeah. And part of it is strength. Part of it, and that's part of what we're developing right here, is how does he start to engage that with the strength? So I've got to build the athlete first. If in the developmental thing, I'm constantly having to build them. All right, can we do 4 steps and stepping in? Okay. Okay, and I stand slightly over here on the cross court side because I want him to have to coil and uncoil a little bit more. Okay, now, if I wanted, this is me being nice, but don't go so much forward, go a little bit more laterally. But if I want to challenge him, I don't want you stepping across. Get out there with that left foot. Go. Quit stepping across. So you're there, but you're so used to reaching for the ball with this foot. I want to see this foot behind it, and I want your weight going in the direction you want the ball to go in. All right? Now, watch. I'm going to speed this up for him. Good. All right. So, you started with the wrong foot. Show me again. Keep pushing off that right toe, turning that right hip. Okay. Yeah, 4 steps. Yeah, but I want you stepping toward me. Get there with that outside foot with that left foot. There you go. Okay, we're going to finish on balance. We're not going to let that foot swing through yet. Okay, balance. And then how are we going to recover? Crossover, split. All right. So I'm interested in every detail of what he's doing. I'm interested in how correctly he's doing it. And as I want to challenge him more, if I toss it now, see, he has to move faster. If I wait for a little kid, there we go. So now, But really a player, I'm here, and he's got to go get it. Okay? Or he's got to go get it. Yeah. So I'm sitting there working and controlling the level that I want by the timing of my throw, the timing of what he's doing. You notice that he struggled stepping across and still reaching for the ball a little bit with that outside foot. One of the ways, I'm going to work on that. Ward, you want to move that box back to the fence for me, please? Thank you. One of the ways I'm going to work with this, and Michael, you came up right through the middle of doing these things. And there's a reason why I've always taught this from the very beginning. Again, once you get to the deeper questions and answers, there's a reason why. So in doing the mini tennis like you started with, I started from the very beginning, you starting on a diagonal. So if you were hitting cross court, you should be recovering to here. From the moment we start, let's learn that. Pushing off this outside foot, making that all part of your initial movement. Understanding taking a minimum of 8 steps in between shots. Good players are taking a minimum of 8, maybe 10 to 12, but now how does that 8 steps relate? That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 8. The Spanish, later on, I was doing this long before I found out that there was a country, Spain, who taught tennis. And they teach it as a double rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing, but I'm American, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, and they count 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you always watch their movement a little bit more, that it's that double da-dump, da-dump, as opposed to bump, 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 bump. When I start, I will start with an athlete finishing, and again, the old school understanding of good balance. And to recover, just shift your weight back, open that hip flexor, cross over, and recover. Yes, I completely agree that as you get better, you swing the foot through at the end as part of the recovery. However, in the developmental stage, I don't do that. Because when they are taught from the beginning to do this, there's none of that sequencing. That whole thing of how does it fire, lower, to bump, 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 upper. And they lock up and they have no power. So they pick the foot up prematurely. The timing of it is that once this rotation, this tornado, has gotten into the larger muscle groups, then it'll continue on up into the higher ones. So if you get to here and it's blah, 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 and it starts to pick, that's irrelevant. It's not going to stop that sequencing. But to teach, I will always start here with classic old school and recover. I agree with the other. I don't disagree. Pardon? It happens. It's almost the tug at the end of the shoulder. Yeah. It's a consequence. It's not the beginning of it. Because this, as a baseball pitcher, this is your power leg. Again, how do you learn to put this under you? How do you learn to drive off of it? And so the second thing I'm always emphasizing is how do you move up to a ball? That they're here and they use this little crossover step and move up. And then recover back, which seems really annoying and really weird. Michael will tell you, it's very annoying. Okay. But in teaching that, what I'm doing ahead of time is first of all teaching you how to put this foot forward and under you, which is more power. It's also teaching you how to load. So as I sit back, think about it, I'm going to throw a punch, I'm back here, I'm coming at you, you're thinking, oh, but if I'm already all the way up here, and I've already stopped the problem that Ward has on his backhand. By doing this, he's not stepping across and reaching. He's learning to get to the ball with the outside foot from the beginning, and he's already learning how to move up to balls. So on the approach shot, or if you're going to move up for a short ball, it's just a more dynamic version of the same thing. Learning an approach shot as a kid, I would do what they told me. I'd turn sideways, adjust my feet, and the ball had dropped. And I look like an idiot, so I'd turn sideways, and I'd go up. Okay. I'm not going to look like an idiot anymore. So here we go. And I just run up and hit it. But the tour players can do two things. They can run, coil, hit, and move through it. Where is that coil? It's right here in that crossover. Now they're getting the... So I'm teaching them from the very beginning, if you need to move up more. So you asked me about carry, learning to always move forward and challenge it. And you know, in the mini tennis, we were constantly telling it, rising, rising, forward, take it, rising. So one, it kind of, she liked it, but two, we trained it all the time. And now that you kind of go back and think about it, you're like, yeah, we did. That was, and we were teaching you to move up to that ball, and she would do these drills with controlling the center, and she's literally, ba-boom, taking it right there. Yeah, ba-boom. So we would work the 4 steps. Boom, how do you take it here? How do you recover? So we developed it, but it was also something that was more her natural gifting. Ward, you're fantastic. All right, now, Ward, I forgot, there was one other little thing, the tying all that together. That footwork, to me, is the secret to having a great backhand down line. When you see, and it's interesting, they were doing, one year we were doing Davis Cup, the analytics for it at when it was in Nashville. And one of the biggest things that the USTA coaches wanted was how good is their backhand down line on the men's side. They felt like that was one of the most important weapons. Why? Because everybody wants their runaround forehand. And one of the biggest counters to it is that backhand down line. So here, to have a great backhand down the line, to me it's so much about learning to put this outside foot behind that ball and already have your weight moving in the direction that you want it to go in. So you had, again, you had to run sideways, but before you ever hit, you have to have your weight going in that direction. That crossover step, how do you guard that ball? Now you've established it. You want great cross-court angles. You're over here, boom, get to the outside of the ball with that foot, which I think Lucas does really well. Where'd he go? I think Lucas does really well. So, Ward, can you give me a couple of backhand down lines? And the first thing, I just want you to start right here and show me this outside foot crossing over. So you're right here, and finish with your weight totally balanced. I don't want this follow through or wrapped around you, right out there, straight line, right through the ball. So show me that for a couple of balls. Not even sure I can get to the other side of the net. Here we go. Show me just a couple of those. So I would start. You're going to give me that little crossover right there and finish. Yeah, start over here. Give me a better crossover. Start in a ready position. Walk up to that ball. 1, 1, 2. I want that foot a lot more turned. When you hit this, everything had to have coiled. That's it. Now, when you finish, I want to feel everything in a line and those hips leaning straight in that direction. That's it. Give me that. Sorry, lousy feet. Where are we finishing? Go in a straight line. Drive those hips out there. Lean on that ball. Get there with that left foot. Cross over. That's it. Get there with the left foot. Good. Distinctly walk over your right foot with that left foot. Distinctly walk over it. Distinctly walk over it. Step over it. That's it. Now finish with that hands out. You didn't get there with it. Where's the left foot? Where's the ball? That's it. Straight through it. Straight follow through. That's it. One more time. Straight through it. Finish. Not across with the finish. Go straight out. Hold the finish. That's it. Didn't get there. Where's the left foot? That's it. Now it's going to go straight because your body weight is going straight. Now, here's the question. Start back over here. How does he give me that movement? And so how does he go 1, 2, and now here, and boom, straight through it. So Michael, with Carrie and with most of the players that I work with, I've felled so many balls of this, feeding from this cross-court diagonal, really improving that footwork. Okay. Horse decided not to jump. Here we go. That's it. So working that footwork to develop, and when she started, her backhand down the line was not that good. But when she finished, her backhand down the line was very good. But really working that, you'll see on the tour, typically you would never have somebody hitting that on the line from out here. But you will have tour players who take a higher ball and they know how to override the system. They're not falling sideways. They're here and they'll go boom, and they go drive straight through it and the ball will go where they want. But if you're falling that way, no way. But they override the system by driving their body weight in the direction they want it to go. This is what the feet are for. Y'all have been so patient with the weirdest deep dive ever into discussing, what is going on in the world today and how do we start to get synchronization, and sadly, what point are we having to start with as coaches? But I have to thank you tremendously for everything. This is the people I've learned from. Y'all coming here and being here in Mississippi, and I always bleed for this state and love this state more. Faulkner was a family friend, and I really understand that little piece of postage stamp size earth that my heart lives in. So to all of y'all, I really want to see all of y'all succeed and help all the kids so much. So thank you very much.